Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, probably one of the best ideas that I've heard ever that has come out of the GOP recently is the idea of sending illegal immigrants to liberal sanctuary cities that claim that they want this, right? They want illegal immigrants. They love illegals. And this is why they voted for Democrats who are pro open borders. But I guarantee you that a lot of these people in these liberal cities had no idea that when they were voting for this, something that Democrats flat out told them up front that, hey, we support illegals in these cities, right? We support sanctuary cities. They had no idea that these migrants would actually show up at their doorstep, okay? They thought that they would remain in the red states of Texas, Arizona, etc. at the border, and that they would never actually show up. However, now that the border crisis has been moved to some of these, liberal cities like Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, etc., you're seeing the full-blown meltdown, okay, that is happening from Democrat leaders and also Democrat voters in these cities. And I gotta tell you guys, this is probably one of the most entertaining things in politics that I have ever seen, because just watching these people scramble to try to figure out how to deal with a few thousand migrants is just hilarious, because they told us that Texas was being xenophobic and racist because they were complaining about the strain that the illegals were causing on the social safety net, right? They said, no, that's not a thing, right? Illegals don't take up resources. They eat for free, right? You can house them for free. You can give them shelter for free. You can clothe them for free. Okay, free for them, right? But not free for taxpayers. And New York, Chicago, a lot of these liberal cities, okay, are now learning this the hard way because, again, the illegals have been bused to their doorsteps. And again, like I said, it's hilarious to watch these cities scramble to try to deal with it, because Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, is so desperate to deal with this crisis. He is now proposing paying people to allow illegals to live in their house, right? Which again is amazing, okay? It's absolutely amazing, because this comes after this guy proposed putting illegals in schools, okay? School gyms, more specifically, and parents was like, nah, we're not having that. We don't want illegals in our schools with our children. And it's just hilarious to watch the people who quite literally voted for this and the Democrats who said they wanted this scramble desperately for help to deal with this crisis. It's amazing. So I want to react to Eric Adams' newest Looney Tunes proposal. But before I get into it, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can check out my new merch. For example, like the shirt that I'm wearing, the Make Women Female Again shirt. It's available on my website at gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code TEAMBCP. So without further ado, let's get into it.
As the city shelter system buckles over the influx of migrants, officials coming up with new ideas on where to house asylum seekers. One new idea, the mayor suggested the city could pay people to house migrants in their apartments. Fox 5's Regan Meggi is live in Midtown with more on this creative solution. Good morning, Regan.
Good morning there, Dan. Yes, a creative solution, also a hypothetical right now, because if New Yorkers are willing to house asylum seekers, they could earn up to $125 a night. That would be money paid for by the city. This as thousands of migrants continue arriving here in the city every week.
Yo, real talk. There should be protests in the street every single day in New York. I'm so serious. And the reason why is because it's like, where are they getting this money from? Okay, have you guys noticed a pattern? Whether it be New York, Chicago, wherever, right? All of a sudden, these cities who have had homelessness on the street, they've had homelessness crises for the longest time, okay? Before the illegals showed up, they refused to do anything about it. They refused to shelter these people because they told us, progressives said, no, you can't force these people to be sheltered, okay? You can't do this type of stuff. That's inhumane, right? This is what they was telling us, okay? Now all of a sudden, they've come up with money in order to take care of illegals. I mean, they're talking about paying people, what, $100 and some a night in New York to allow illegals to stay in their apartment, which I guess is a discount from $300 a night, right, that they're paying for hotel. But again, the question is, where are they getting this money from? And why in the world did we have homeless veterans on the streets of these liberal cities when money was available to house them the whole time? Again, that's a question that people should be asking. Look what happened in Chicago. They found $51 million to give to illegals. They had a homelessness crisis. They had Americans on the street and refused to do anything about it. But as soon as illegals came into the city, they decided that, oh, we found a way to house homeless people. Again, this should tell you exactly what the Democrats are about and who they care about. They don't care about Americans. It's always Americans last with Democrats. And I don't understand how people continue to vote for this. Because every chance they get, they show you that they don't give a damn about you, right? They're not fighting in your best interest as a taxpayer, okay? They want to use your money and give it to people that don't want to work, okay? They want to give it to illegals, okay? They want to reward bad behavior. They're pro-criminals. But again, they turn around and they still vote for it. I don't understand why. Again, at this point, I'm unsure if Democrat voters are just brainwashed, right? Stupid, or is the Republican Party just that bad? It probably is all three, right? It's probably a little bit of all three.
The closer we bring the asylum seekers and the migrants to everyday New Yorkers, the easier it will be for them to transition into society.
The closer they bring illegal immigrants to everyday New Yorkers, the easier it will be for them to transition into society. Are you listening? Are you listening to what this guy is saying? He's saying we want to bring illegal immigrants closer to you. We want to bring people who are potentially criminals. We don't know who they are. We don't really know where they're from. We don't know all that much about them. We want to bring strangers close to you, right? It's so close, we want to put them in your house. We want to put them in your house. Again, do you think that New Yorkers thought that when they voted for Eric Adams that this is what they'd be getting? But again, this is the same guy that tried to push for illegals to be able to vote in their local election. So they shouldn't be surprised that now this same guy wants to put illegals in their house, right? In their homes. Now, again, some people may say, oh, you're so inhumane. These people are asylum seekers. They're not here illegally and such and such and such. Okay, fine. Right? You can call me inhumane, but I'm not a sucker, right? And I understand that, again, there are no solutions in life, okay? Well, I like to help these people, sure. But I would much rather help Americans, right? If we're going to be, spending this amount of money to house people, I would much rather spend the money housing Americans, my own people, than people from a foreign country, right? Because at the end of the day, if we have open borders and we just allow all the asylum seekers or alleged asylum seekers, because a lot of these people, they're just using that as a way to have an excuse to be here, to say, well, I'm seeking asylum. If we just allow all of them into the country, then we don't have a country, right? Everything in life is a trade-off. I'm looking at the trade-offs. Yes, I understand that sending them back to their country probably is not the most humane thing to do. But is it humane just to allow every single one of them in here into the United States? Is it humane to pick and choose which ones are allowed and which ones are not? If they're all seeking asylum, right? If, a lot of them, if they get sent back to their country, they'll die. Is it humane to pick and choose? Right? I'm just proposing that, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just be tight and just pause illegal immigration as much as we can right now. Maybe we shouldn't be accepting people from these other countries. We need to get our own house together. Again, this is a trade-off, man, right? I don't claim to have a humane solution at all. I'm just telling you that any solution that you choose, they're going to be trade-offs, and there's going to be some inhumanity regardless. And there's no doubt in my mind that most people agree with what I'm saying. They agree with what I'm saying. Because even these liberals that are out here trying to virtue signal, talking about how inhumane that is just to send them back and then not accept them, They don't want them in their backyard, right? Again, evidenced by all the protests and the uprisings that we've seen from Democrat voters who now are experiencing the border crisis in their own backyard, and all of a sudden they're against illegal immigration, right? They don't want it anymore. The only difference is that I don't need them in my backyard to realize what the negative consequences are of them being in my backyard, okay? For me to come out here and to say, yeah, send them on back to their country, and I'm going to pray for you, right? I'm going to pray for you. But, I mean, real talk, though. Real talk. If you're going to do something, though, like if you're going to accept some people, me personally, I don't have much problem, if they're vetted, that is, accepting the women, right? We can accept the women and the children. I'm not about accepting the grown men. Now, some people I've heard say, well, the women are likely to vote, Democrat or whatever, and, I got a solution for that, too. It's a controversial solution. Women are probably going to hate me for it, but I mean, I'm just keeping it 100, right? I did a video yesterday about the loneliness of some of the men in this country, right? We got a problem with men being able to find traditional wives. Now, again, some of these women from Venezuela, they more traditional than some of the American women here. They more traditional. They more feminine. Okay. I'm pretty sure they'd be more than happy to have a conservative husband, right? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of conservative men looking for a wife. I mean, we got the passport bro movement for a reason, right? That exists for a reason. So I'm just saying, you can make it easy, right, on the passport bros, right? And just start having some of these, women that are seeking asylum coming from Venezuela. Hey, you can come here, but you got to have a man that's willing to accept you. And since communication is important, we'll also teach you English as well too, right? También te enseñaremos inglés. But you can't vote, right? You can't vote. And if you try to divorce your guy, you're getting shipped back to Venezuela, right? You're going back to your home country. Again, some people might say that's messed up, but again, what's the alternative, right? What's the alternative here? Okay, but hey, if you want to come here, you can. You just have to have a man sponsor you to come, okay, and to be his wife or whatever. I'm just saying, maybe, just maybe, that's the most humane solution, okay? But I'm not down with bringing a bunch of men, okay, from some of these countries into our country. I'm not down with that. At the very most, women and children, if we are going to accept people, and even that has to have some conditions, right, that are favorable to us. So, yeah, I'm low-key joking, but at the same time, I don't claim to have a humane solution. I just know that the most humane solution can't be this, right? It can't be having open borders and just letting everybody into the country and saying, well, hey, they're free to be here, okay? And try to pretend like Americans don't suffer because of having illegals, a lot of whom are unvetted, come into this country. That's all I'm saying.
Each week, thousands of single adults and families arrive here on buses from border states, and finding housing for everyone has become increasingly difficult. So Mayor Eric Adams is floating an idea, asking private homeowners to share their space. Those willing will be paid by the city.
It's cheaper and it's a good investment for us to go to a family and assist them instead of placing people in large congregate settings or in these emergency hotels.
Technically short term.
Y'all doing that? Right? Any of y'all signing up for that? Will any of you guys sign up to house illegal immigrants if you got paid? Right? Y'all let me know in the comment section. Y'all say, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Rentals of 30 days or less are illegal in New York City. So if this is going to be something less than 30 days, they would have to change the existing law.
New York City civil rights attorney Ken Belkin says the mayor could issue an executive order to temporarily change laws, which could open up his honor to litigation. And he's already created controversy for previous plans to house migrants, such as housing men in tents on the Orchard Beach parking lot, then Randall's Island, both scrapped amid flooding concerns. Placing migrants in school gyms fell flat with parents and students. And just yesterday, in an exclusive report on Good Day New York, Fox 5 reporter Morgan Mackay explained a new effort. Starting next month, nearly 1,000 migrants will be housed in 50 churches and houses of worship. These faith-based shelters will be open from 7 at night to 7 in the morning.
Now, why are they doing this? Right, these faith-based shelters, they ain't doing it for free. I can tell you that right now. they're not doing it for free. It's because they're getting paid. Okay, they're making money off of it. Again, you know, it's just amazing to see how this all unfolds, right? It really is.
The migrants will then be moved to daytime centers, which will also be faith-based operated, but paid for by the city. Another option to shelter migrants, the old postal warehouse at JFK Airport. The FAA just gave its approval, saying the space has adequate security and safety plans in place for housing.
Again, isn't it amazing how all of a sudden they've come up with all these different ideas to solve homelessness, right, for illegals? But again, you have homeless people like, again, Jordan Neely's, right? The Jordan Neely's of the world, right? That were on the streets, in subways, being a menace to society until, unfortunately, somebody decided to take him out because he was being a menace to society, allegedly. And the left-wing liberals want to come out here and the progressives want to talk about, he deserved housing. He deserved housing. Well, it seems to me that you care more about housing illegals than you care about housing the Jordan Neelys of this country. Because if you put as much effort into getting people like Jordan Neely housed and off the streets as you're putting effort into getting illegals housed and off the streets, then Jordan Neely would still be alive. He would still be alive. And see, this is why I don't buy into this progressive nonsense that their policies and their ideas are more ethical. They're more humane. No, they're not. Right? There was nothing humane about leaving Jordan Neely on the street, okay? Refusing to house this man, refusing to get him help, okay? Because, hey, we don't want to force homeless people to be institutionalized. We don't want to force that on them, right? But yet you are basically doing it for illegals. It's the exact same thing with crime, right? Well, we don't want to lock up black people. We don't want to throw people in jail because that's racist. While you allow the criminals to terrorize law-abiding citizens, to murder people in the streets. And then they want to say, well, we're humane, right? We're humane. We're ethical. It's like, no, you're not. You're just silly, okay? You're silly and you're naive about the world. You don't understand human nature. And that's the problem with progressives.
And city officials say more than 45,000 migrants are currently in the care of the Department of Homeless Services. Now, the price tag for that is $4.3 billion. And as you can imagine, Mayor Adams is now looking at the fact that he may have to, in order to make those payments, have to make some cuts across the city. We're live here in Midtown. Reagan Medji.
$4.3 billion. I believe that's what she said. 4.3 billion, right? With a B, not million, $1 billion. Progressives told us that illegals were free, right? Illegals are a net positive. Illegals contribute to the economy and we make money off illegals. This is what they told us. To me, right, doesn't seem like that's what's happening in New York City. We were told they were not a strain on the social safety net. That was white supremacist talk, right? That was bigotry. That was racism, xenophobia. When Texans were saying, no, these people are taking up resources. We can't afford this. Now, again, the tax bill is so high that they have to cut services to Americans, right, in the city of New York to pay for illegals. Again, this is stunning, right? This is absolutely stunning. But hey, I'm loving every second of it because, again, this is what these people voted for. When they voted for Eric Adams, this is what they voted for. When they voted for Biden, this is what they voted for. It is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.